didn't have no gun. He wasn't messing with nobody.
Family approached CMPD officers, then WCCB Charlotte after an officer shot and killed a man this woman says was her brother, Keith Scott.
Them undercover detectives, they jumped out their truck. They said, hands up. He got a gun, he got a gun. Pow, 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 pow. That's it. He had no gun.
Police say they recovered a gun, but family argues the man was just waiting on his son at the bus stop outside the Village at College Downs Apartments on Old Concord Road.
Every day he sits in his truck. When the sun comes out, he moves and he sits in the shade, reads his book, does his studies, and waits on his kids to get off the bus.
Officers were in the complex searching for a wanted man. When they say they saw the father in his truck, they say he got out with a gun, got back inside. When they approached, they say he got out again with the gun, posing a deadly threat, so they shot and killed him. This man says he's the brother.
The cracker killed him because he was scared of him, like they killing everybody.
Angry neighbors were outside the crime scene protesting.
He got out, hands just like this, and they shot him.
This woman says she's one of the man's 7 children.
He's disabled. He can't do nothing. What you shoot him for? He was reading a book.
Gunfire, crowds running from tear gas.
They killed that man!
A stark contrast to the call for peaceful protest. Tempers escalated at CMPD headquarters just after 7 Wednesday evening. Some demanded to talk to officers inside. Earlier, protesters had productive dialogue with police.
And we certainly don't want anybody out there who's feeling like they're not in the right place.
Right,
I understand that.
They then moved here in Marshall Park.
Right now, we're getting ready to march.
Where million youth march and activist leaders urge them to remain peaceful.
We want everybody to be able to voice their opinion safely.
The plan was to walk to AME Zion Church in Uptown for discussion. Instead, hundreds took a detour to the epicenter.
I'm here for the original statement, but, if it gets too out of hand and standing on cars and, throwing stuff at people's vehicle, I can't condone that.
As the crowd blocked traffic, police in riot gear stepped in to push them to sidewalk.
Y'all here to serve and protect, right?
Protesters frustrated police couldn't talk back on the street.
That would calm it all the way down, but not even speaking to me, not acting like he even hears what I'm saying, it hurts.
Among tear gas flashbangs, we heard the sound of gunfire. That was the shot that hit the protester in the head. Police say another protester was the gunman. The crowd ran for cover. Emotions uncontrollable.
It's just too much. Just the fact that we can't be ourselves. We can't be the people that we were born to be, and it's ridiculous. And then we ask for peaceful protest, and it turns into a mockery.
Courtney Francisco, WCCB News.
And I could not believe that. I was like, no calls? Really? So yeah, pretty ticked this morning about it.
Panthers fans and parents out for high school Friday night football at West Mecklenburg are still angry about Cam Newton's headshots and lack of referee response in Thursday night's game against the Broncos.
I don't think he gets the same protection as other quarterbacks. I think his size is being used against him when it comes to calls from the refs.
It's a topic close to many parents' hearts, like Monica Cook, whose son plays for Independence High School.
I worry about it every game. Every game I worry about it.
Charlotte Mecklenburg schools say all North Carolina high schools and middle schools follow the same law when it comes to concussion protocol and emergency plans. A few being a licensed athletic trainer on campus to teach prevention and on the field at all football games. Second, CMS contracts with Medic to be on site for all games, and coaches receive emergency training and call 911 immediately. Cook says she feels like the school does a great job protecting the kids.
I've had friends who have had sons that have gotten concussions on the field, and our trainer that's on the field is right on it.
Our 42nd president, Bill Clinton.
The former commander-in-chief firing up a Charlotte crowd, delivering a speech that got him out from behind the podium and talking directly to the audience.
We are so close to being able to rise again. We are so close to the era of greatest discovery and prosperity that is shared, that we've ever had.
In front of around 400 people at the Hickory Grove Rec Center, Clinton talked about jobs, the economy, and rising tuition costs, and tried to lay out a contrast between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, who he says would take the country back 50 years.
The choice of the American people will define what it means to be an American in the 21st century.
One issue Clinton wasn't talking about was the latest email controversy, and strong Clinton supporters like Karen McCrory say they don't want to hear about it.
I'm so over the email. They were making so much of it, and no one even knows what it is.
Clinton also briefly touched on North Carolina's controversial House Bill 2 when talking about broad support for Hillary.
We're going from the opponents of HB 2 to the Dallas Morning News. That's a pretty broad establishment.
And while there were many committed Hillary Clinton supporters in the crowd, we also found undecided voters and those like Ron Sullivan, who didn't want to miss a chance to hear the former president speak.
I love him because he don't have a script, he takes it off the cuff, and he speaks from the heart.
The main thing that they should be wanting to do is to instill public trust in the system.
Robert Dawkins with Safe Coalition NC says police videos like this, showing the shooting death of Keith Lamont Scott, should always be released to the public.
It's the public's domain. Just like the police car belongs to the public, the officer's salary is paid by the public, anything that's done on their job should be available for the public.
Starting today, a new law could make it more difficult for you to see videos like this. House Bill 972 requires a judge's approval before any video is released to the public.
I think the public has the right to determine for themselves what they see.
Charlotte attorney Adam Seifer says, along with adding time and legal costs, the new law could fuel speculation rather than fact.
People always assume the worst, and they always say, well, what are the police hiding, even when there is nothing to hide? And it's just going to cause more problems than it really prevents.
But supporters like Governor Pat McCrory, who signed the bill into law, says it puts the decision to release video in front of a neutral party.
What the new state law will actually do is take the politics of the media, the politics of politicians, the politics of whoever has input in this, and let a judge determine the balance between releasing information versus the rights of those being investigated.
Oh, it devastated me. You know, that poor lady, you know? It's just terrible. I mean, it makes you feel like you're not safe to go out after dark anymore, you know?
Sylvia Gross works at the corner of South Boulevard and Park Avenue in South End, right across the street from where police say 33-year-old Ruan Guo was shot in the head Friday night. According to the incident report, her boyfriend, Nathan Beardsley, told police they were about to get in their car when the robber pulled a gun and demanded his wallet. Beardsley said he couldn't get his wallet out fast enough before the robber shot Guo and then ran off. Terrifying for those who say they're proud of their neighborhood.
And it's up and coming. We've got all these new businesses, all these new condos, and it's just shocking, I guess. It's the best way that I can say it.
Miss Guo teaches third grade at Kensington Elementary in Waxhaw. School officials say it's her fourth year here in the States. Students and staff brought sunflowers, and the school asked everyone to wear purple Monday in her honor. The sign out front, "We love you, Miss Guo."
It could happen at any time, any place, anywhere nowadays.
Sad moment. Pretty much all I can say about that.
It was an emotional goodbye for Officer Tim Brackeen. Law enforcement from across the state and country came to pay respects.
We go to work every day not knowing whether we're going to come home or not, so an hour trip or a 4-hour trip is worth coming down.
Wives of fellow officers watching Brackeen's wife, Michael, sharing in her pain.
You can't help but picture yourself sitting there.
K-9 units from dozens of departments lined the ball field at Keter Stadium. Perhaps the most touching moment, Brackeen's longtime partner, Psycho, sitting beside the casket. The service honored him as an officer.
Timothy James Brackeen took a bullet for the city of Shelby.
His brother, Reverend Stephen Brackeen, honored him as a man.
As I watched Timothy fight the battle of his life, I thought, that is who I want to be.
Governor Pat McCrory had the crowd stand and give all law enforcement a baseball cheer. One constant theme, love and forgiveness, asking everyone to walk away not bitter, but better.
I believe that Tim would want the sacrifice of his life to make you a better person. May God bless each of you.
After leaving the ball field, a police escort guided Brackeen's coffin through the streets of Shelby to his final resting place.
Shelby Police Officer Tim Brackeen, this is your final call. Though you're gone, your services to your community and the sacrifices you made will never be forgotten.